Good morning, good day, and good evening. No matter where you are listening to the Karma Iguana, welcome along. We've got a really special episode for you today. I'm joined in the studio by Wilson. Oh my goodness. I think we've probably ruined everyone's eardrums.
It was the first ever our attempt at a whispercast.
At a whispercast. Maybe next week.
It was a good.
Hey, Josh,
night.
you
Wait.
talked before you were introduced.
Yeah, you're breaking the thing. We're gonna just do this all again.
Quick, introduce me before it's too late.
Good morning, good day, good evening, no matter where you are in the world. Welcome to the Karma Iguana podcast, the pop culture cast for the modern, decent human being. I'm Paddy G. I'm joined this week by the Steve Buscemi of the podcast world. It's Ev.
Hey, was that a comment about my teeth? I feel self-conscious now.
No, just your face.
And he is the Westlife of the podcast world. It's Wilson.
So you've downgraded our listenership from discerning to decent.
Decent. Well,
What's next week? Basically functional?
Existing. It's probably a good place to
start. We did
start.
some market polling. It didn't come back good.
Breathing?
Wait, let's just... Because you went to a market and you asked a couple of people.
And then bought a poll.
Yes. And hence, market polling. So, Ev, we'll start with you this week. What have you been playing? What have you been doing?
Ooh, a lot more Warhammer. Just testing out the new DLC. Watching Luke Cage on Netflix. Nearly finished season 1. And Doom. Bought Doom in the Steam sales. So
Nice. Yeah. Good pickup. Doom's good. I like Doom a lot.
Doom is very good.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. Picked it up. It was about half price, so it was a bit more in my range.
Yeah. Luke Cage. How's Luke Cage been?
I don't know. I feel like it started really strongly, but towards the end, and I'm not quite done yet. I think I've got about an episode to go. It's just kind of burning out. There's only so many things you could do with a bulletproof guy.
Shoot him?
Well,
you can't stab him because he's bulletproof, not sword-proof.
Is he knife-proof as well? Has anyone tried stabbing?
You know, that's a very good question. I don't remember seeing anyone try and stab him.
They're missing out.
The villain side down.
But yeah, it's not bad. I liked Daredevil best, I guess. I had high hopes for Luke Cage. And while it's decent and entertaining, it just kind of feels like it peaks too early and then doesn't really go anywhere after that. So, yeah.
See, it's funny because they try stabbing a lot with Daredevil.
Yeah.
It's like he gets stabbed every second episode.
That's probably because he's blind.
He can't see the
knife. What was that? Shit. Again.
Well,
that's pretty much the first season, is them stitching him up again.
Not again. Come on. We just stitched you up. Stop it.
Dare? Can I call you Dare? Mr. Devil? Okay. You got to stop getting stabbed. Yeah, I think instead of Luke Cage, they should have made a TV show about Nuke. That would have been I empathise a lot more with Nuke.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one gets that?
I see it. Somewhat.
Do you know who Nuke is?
No.
See, don't ruin Daredevil for me, Josh, but I think they should have made the twist be that the Punisher and Nuke were in the same program together, thus linking in Jessica.
That could still happen. I mean, we've still got this Iron Fist to go. I don't know if the others will show up in that. But then when the Defenders come out, that should be a good chance to look into Nuke and co.
Yeah. Did he die? No, that's spoiler territory. I can't remember whether he died or not in Jessica Jones.
Spoiler free.
Discuss this anymore.
Yeah, that's completely spoiler free because I can't remember what happened.
Who's next? Or who should they do next in the Marvel sort of
Punisher.
TV? But that's set up, isn't it?
They haven't announced anything yet. Well, he shows up at the end of a trailer, but I don't know if that's a clip from Daredevil.
No, he's definitely getting his own show. That's been
Sweet.
confirmed. He was really successful. And they decided that they were going to run with a full season for him after all.
Thank
But I think that's supposed to come late next year.
But he was, that actor was easily my favourite character in Walking Dead. And then he's easily my favourite hero in the entire Marvel stable. So it'd be good to see a TV show based around him.
Yeah, I had my reservations to start with, but he really came through. He makes an excellent Punisher.
Yes.
That's good. Well, so then I guess that moves to that question. Who is next in line? Who should they do? And if it's different, who will they do?
Well, it's definitely going to be Iron Fist next for the Netflix TV universe. And then I think it's supposed to be potentially Defenders after that. And I guess it depends on popularity. If people are still watching, they'll expand it out further. Because the idea was to only really do the key, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, maybe some appearances from the others, and then launch into Defenders.
Do you think?
But while it's making money, they're going all out.
Do you think the Marvel stable is just going to be focused on the Manhattan area, or?
Yeah, I think it'll be street level for them. I don't think they'll go any further than that. It just works a bit better for lower budgets.
Yeah, but it's going to be weird having people like the Defenders and not mentioning Spider-Man at all because he works on a very similar level to them. So
yeah,
they throw in references all the time. So they talk about the big green guy or having a robot suit or whatever. They never call them by name.
Yeah,
but they describe them in just enough detail that you know exactly who they're talking about.
But he would show up. There's no doubt that Spider-Man would show up once in a while.
Maybe one day.
He's such a feature in New York.
That would be probably their entire season budget.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is a shame.
Yeah. I don't know. Not having that more popular guy in there is kind of refreshing.
True.
It allows you to focus on these lower level guys.
Yeah.
Tell a more intimate story.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What about a Fantastic Four? So Fox has Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Peggy Carter. Netflix has Manhattan. Fox also has Legion. Have you heard about Legion, Josh?
Yeah, they've been hinting that Legion is going to be a bigger deal than what everyone sort of expects. There's been little throwaways over time.
So he's Professor X's kid or something like that? You know much about it?
I read this a couple of days ago. I'm just going to have to do a quick fact check.
Fact checking a podcast? Who heard of it?
It's no.
Well, I mean, no one's really listening anyway, right? So it doesn't.
Fox kind of, So you've got Network TV, which has the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. franchise. Netflix, which has the Manhattan. Network TV again, which has kind of the X-Men franchise. So, what else are they going to do? Great Lakes Avengers?
Yeah. You do run out, I guess, at some stage. But
Alpha Flight?
yeah.
What's Canada's
Team
premier
Alpha.
network?
Alpha Team. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we could bring in Captain Canada.
Yeah.
It can be Nathan Fillion. I'd watch that.
And
Yeah.
Wendigo.
Yeah. Yeah. See, that's not bad.
Wolverine.
But you can't really do Wolverine.
And you could cut in with the new Wolverine, though, because Hugh Jackman's not doing any further, so...
It's a good way to introduce a new Wolverine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black Cat. Black Cat?
Oh, yeah, Spider-Man's girlfriend.
Spider-Man's girlfriend, yeah.
She would be in the movies, yeah?
I don't think she's made any appearances.
Not yet, but she would, like, be one of those... You know how you could make a Deadpool movie because the rights to X-Men and the associated characters were owned by
With Deadpool.
Fox.
Yes, yeah.
So like Black Cat would probably be owned by Sony still and would have to be lent out to Marvel because she's an associated character to Spider-Man.
Potentially.
Yeah.
No. It could be an interesting show though. Black Cat show.
Yeah.
And it'd be called that as well.
The
Black Cat show. It's more of a talk show format.
Well, they're definitely doing live-action Legions, so just checking the wiki page, and Fox and Marvel Television are going to be setting it in the X-Men universe, and then going from there.
Kitty Pryde going to show up?
It's a bit hard to say. They actually don't really go into too much detail as to which direction it'll go in. But I think there'd be a few issues as well in going into the X-Men cinematic universe. And
Seems a lot more grounded.
Using any of the key characters.
Yeah. Well, it seems a lot more grounded because, like, you know, you're not going to get that blue mutant. For some reason, blue is the color of mutation in the X-Men universe.
Yeah.
And, you know, Legion isn't blue, he's pink. So
Yeah.
you're not going to get that whole blue mutant. Mutant thing's probably going to be, you know, more subtle mutations in the Legion show, I think.
Yeah, that's it.
You know what happens to a toad that gets hit by lightning?
Did you hear the story behind that line? There's actually, they cut out most of the movie that relates to him being an annoying bastard and using that line on everyone.
Yeah.
And then it just sounds like, I don't know, Storm just saying something really weird out of the blue and electrifying him.
I still remember the old X-Men cartoons where, like, Storm had that struggle with claustrophobia.
Yes. Yeah.
X-Men was great.
It was a great cartoon. I loved it.
Taught us a lot about dealing with people, life, love.
Humanity.
Yeah,
Claws.
The animation style's kind of aged a little bit, but overall, those TVs, like, the original TV show is quite good still.
I would like to go back and watch that X-Men cartoon, the Iron Man cartoon, you know, of that era. See how it holds up. Just not just animation wise, obviously.
Speaking of, as someone who lived for 3 months with a chick and her boyfriend who would smoke meth and then watch the X-Men cartoons
Yes.
every night after I got home from work, they don't hold up that well.
Okay.
But maybe that was just the situation.
Thanks for shooting that down.
No. You raised an interesting point. That's where the meth comes in.
Yes.
I'm sure the meth made it better for him.
Yeah. So what you're saying is, if you're going to revisit old cartoons like X-Men or Earthworm Jim, take meth.
That's exactly what he's saying.
No comment.
So Doom as well. How far in?
Only the 3rd level so far. I'm pretty much halfway through that. Finding it's not too bad. It's reminding me that I need to upgrade my PC because it slows right down at times to try and animate everything that's happening. But it kind of feels like bullet time. Like, really, really slow bullet time.
Well, yeah, you should upgrade your PC because Doom is like the speed is what makes Doom so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm getting distracted by trying to find all the secret areas, and I'm finding over time that's taking away from the game because it disrupts the flow. Because I'm looking for a way to get up onto every little ledge, and
Yeah.
You just got to roleplay it, pretend you're me. Just be a massive rage monster just running through the level and don't look for any secrets or anything.
I was a little worried where that was going because I've seen you play RPGs. You're usually naked.
Only if I'm playing a chick.
Oh. Tucked back.
I'm just sitting on it. No, he doesn't mean my character in the RPG. I'm just sitting on the couch.
Yeah, that was an awkward weekend. From now on, I stay in hotels in Melbourne.
That's actually how I finished Dragon Age 2, I think it was. Everyone had come to Melbourne for the Melbourne Cup long weekend, and I just sat and played Dragon Age 2 for the weekend.
Naked.
Not naked.
And then everyone came back to your place. Hey, Wilson. I mean, we'll come back.
Okay, guys, swords out. It's time to slay the dragon.
Oh.
For a game called Dragon Age, there wasn't much dragon slaying in it.
How about age?
There was a lot of aging.
Delightful. So, I do recommend getting yourself your PC upgraded, or potentially a console. But Doom, definitely, I would say in Game of the Year sort of discussions. Definitely a really good game.
Did it come out this year?
Yeah, pretty
Good.
sure.
I accept.
Wilson.
Yes.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello. What have you been playing? What have you been doing? What have you been watching?
A little bit. I've been playing a fair bit of Civilization 5. I've played through once on Warlord difficulty and just started again on... I started a few games on Prince difficulty.
Yep.
And then immediately died.
Yeah.
So restarted on Warlord, played through as a Warlord, and then I've just started a new campaign as a Prince last night. So
Okay. Just to clarify, Civ 6?
Civ
Yep.
6, yeah.
Cool.
Civ 5 was what I was playing last week.
Yeah, in preparation.
In preparation for Civ 6. Been playing a bit of Battlefield 1, as you know, with you, and Slain back from hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit about it.
About Slain. Well, I suppose the story goes back to PAX about 2 or 3 years ago when we first saw Volgar the Viking.
Yeah.
And that was really cool. And then I got it, and it wasn't as cool as it looked at PAX. It wasn't as deep as I thought it would be. So I kind of shelved it. And then Slain Back from Hell comes out, and that is probably what I was looking for in terms of Volgar the Viking, but with a bit more heavy metal involved. So it's really cool, quite a cool game, really good art style. A bit more mechanically dense than Volgar, but not much. Like it's not something that you're going to sink a whole lot of points into your crossbow skill or your spear skill, which I know is what Josh is looking for. It's just
I'm all about the spear.
Hack, slash, and jump. And it just looks like a classic old NES game.
I do like that retro style platformer look. You're right. Volgar, the Viking, it looked amazing. And I don't think it played horribly.
No.
But you're right. Just didn't have a lot of depth to it. So we'll be interested to get this.
But then again, one of the best games of last generation, Super Meat Boy had one button in it, or two buttons, run and jump. So Volgar's got a bit more. Slain has a bit more in it than that, but not much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What platforms is it available on?
I've got it on the Xbox, but I haven't looked into that. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
But I've got it on the Xbox, and I assume I've seen it played on Steam, and Doom would be on PS4 as well. So
All your
Yeah.
major platforms.
everything that matters.
Everything that matters. Oh, wait. A burn for what?
Nintendo.
Who?
Nintendo.
Don't. We'll get to that news. We'll get to that news. Civ 6. A little bit more about Civ 6.
Yeah, it's after playing Civ 5 last week and then playing Civ 6 this week, I found going straight into a Prince difficulty game a bit of a rude shock. The barbarians were a lot more aggressive than I was expecting, so I kind of got ruined by them. Like, basically, improvements in Civ 6 are a lot more expensive, I'd say. You have to set aside time for your city to build a builder, and then you have to use that builder, and that builder only has 3 uses to build improvements before it disappears. So an improvement effectively costs city build time. So when you've got barbarians rampaging through your lands and all your builders locked up inside their houses, and you're losing money and losing stuff, food because of the barbarians, you're pretty well screwed. So yeah, I was quite shocked by how aggressive the barbarians were given that. And then the Germans attacked me, and I was just ruined. No, it's got a couple of good new mechanics. I'm still getting my head around district creation. You've got to really optimize your cities to take advantage of your district placement bonuses, and really work out what you want to specialize your city in, because each city can only have a certain number of districts based on how many people it might have. So say you set up your capital with a cultural center or a religious center, and then you'd have another city with some mines, which you'd set up with an industrial center and a encampment, then a third city to generate science or religion or something. So you've really got to focus on getting all of that stuff done.
Can you include new districts as the population increases?
Yep. Yeah, you can. So, but one thing I found really interesting was tactical placement of encampments. So, your city will have its own garrison and walls, and it will, once you get the walls up built properly, you can. It's got a ranged attack. The city will have a ranged attack, much like Civ 5 did. And then if you build an encampment as well, you'll get another garrison with walls. So you can put another unit in the encampment, and that'll have a ranged attack, and you can effectively use that to kind of lock down bottlenecks in your landmass if you have any. So yeah, it increases the options available to you tactically when placing cities, which is a good thing. I used it last night to hem some pesky Arabs into a peninsula.
Nice.
They attacked me and pissed me off. Yeah, generally I'm a fairly easygoing Civ player, but I'm not super aggressive. I was back in the Civ 2 days when you could go in and alter the text files so you didn't have as much corruption caused by a number of cities. But now that I haven't been able to do that since Civ 3, I prefer to sit back and build a whole lot of wonders and generate culture and get religious or cultural victories. So yeah, overall, it's got some good improvements. It'll definitely, Civ 5 was a big shake-up from the previous Civs with its introduction of hex-based gameplay. I think Civ 6 is an even bigger. The use of the districts is an even bigger improvement than the switch to hex.
Cool.
So,
Nice.
Do you reckon it's got good replayability? Will you keep coming back to this, or if you complete one campaign, do you think you're done?
Yes. I think the replayability is quite good because each civilization has its own bonuses and it rewards its own playstyle. So the first time through, I played as the Americans and just got my tourism victory. I'm doing the same with the British this time. I'll probably end up going for a tourism victory with them as well, just because they have really good bonuses to their tourism. But the other civilizations reward a more aggressive play style. I know the Aztecs give you culture for every kill, so that'll reward you going after your enemies early and often. Yeah. So yeah, it's got a fair bit of replayability and randomized maps and everything. Yeah.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
Who's your
And
favourite
Paddy?
soup? Oh, sorry. Yes, Ev.
Okay. Well, no, that's okay. I was just going to ask what you've been up to, but
England.
I've been up to England. That's your favourite.
That's my favourite
soup.
soup. Yeah,
Okay.
English.
What have I been up to? Well, planning for impending baby.
yes.
There's a lot to consider. There's a lot of things that are purchased and that need to go to hospital with the wife, with the lady who's having the baby.
I'm just thinking of the packing list that I had for Kapuka, and it's probably not very appropriate for
It's
I'm not
probably
sure
quite
there's a
similar.
comparison there.
No, I reckon it's rather apt. Think about it. A bow knife.
What?
A bow knife.
No. I'll tell Josh later.
Okay. So, and obviously a lot of reading and a lot of preparation around the house as well. So that's been interesting. And obviously a certain bucking party for a certain buck coming up this weekend. Yes.
Yes.
Gosh.
What?
So working with Ev here to help plan some of that. It's been good. I think it's going to be pretty good.
Have you
Yeah.
planned many before? Did you plan?
I haven't planned anything.
Really?
No. So this is the first one.
The first?
So setting the bar low.
I've planned a couple, and I have to say that it's been an emotional ride. But everything that's happened in planning this one has happened in every other Bucks party as well. So
What you're saying is everything is happening as you have foreseen.
it's everything that I expected and more.
Aw.
Faithful rebels will die.
But I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. It's going to be enjoyable. Very much so.
Yeah.
So, other than that, it's basketball season. I'm a big US sports sort of nut. So, basketball started today. So, no spoilers if you haven't watched the matches yet. And the hockey is started. They're a few games deep now. And the gridiron, that's well and truly in. So, I've been absorbing a lot of US sports and culture. My podcast list has grown to include a number of ESPN podcasts, lots of sports.
Can you recommend a Bruins only podcast?
No,
Just all Bruins all the time.
no, I cannot.
Maybe we could do that on Thursdays.
Oh,
No, not us.
Yes, yes,
Sure, why not? I mean, I know nothing about hockey.
that's perfect
That's the Bruins podcast. We just say Bruins.
for an hour.
Bruins.
Wins.
For an hour.
And then, intersperse it with promos for this podcast
Yes.
and maybe some sort of product placement for, other companies. Get the
Yeah.
music.
What, the Red Sox?
Yeah,
No.
Put the music in there.
Yeah.
Get
No,
that
no.
sweet ad money.
Yeah. Not other sports
no.
companies.
Yeah.
No.
No. Like Magic the Gathering cards or
Magic Jordan. Magic
Magic
Johnson.
Jordan cards.
Michael B. Jordan. The Michael B. Jordan story.
Ah, yes.
Magic B. Jordan.
Oh, imagine. So look for that podcast in the coming weeks. And Battlefield 1, which is, I guess, the big release from the last week. Been spending a lot of time getting through some of the campaign I guess I'll call it, and getting into the multiplayer. I had a pretty bad multiplayer experience the other day. I'm not a really good multiplayer player, and so I get frustrated really easily. So, but I guess I'll get into more of that when we go through the hot take. Which I guess looking at the run, what do you say we take a quick break?
Yeah, throw to a word from our sister podcast.
Sounds good.
Hey Bat fans, it's the Dad Knight here, coming to you from the Batcave. Join the Just Us League with Red Thunder, The Probe, LL Cool Elder, and myself as we bring you weekly videocasts reviewing all the latest comic book shows like Gotham, Supergirl, Arrow, The Flash, and Legends of Tomorrow, plus all the latest comic book movies and much, much more. Head over to www.frombatcave.com for all the info and links to find our episodes. That's www.frombatcave.com. Hope to see you there, Bat fans.
Welcome back to Karma Iguana.
It was nice. I like that.
It was like ASMR. In the ear
Smell
orgasm.
That's my jam now. Thank you for introducing that,
ASMR.
or me, to that.
Yes.
That's yeah. I know what I'm doing after the podcast.
So it works
okay.
on you.
Yeah. It kind of got me kind of excited.
I know about you and ears, so.
Yes. It is my thing. Ears happen to be my thing.
I'm rethinking my Bucks Party outfit.
Just a giant ear. Oh God.
Josh is going to shave his head. So all you see walking down the road towards you. It's like a car door driving down the road. A car driving down the road with both its front doors open.
It's a family trait. Come on.
That's cruel, but also turn on.
Mine are actually quite reasonable compared to, the rest of my family.
Yes.
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 Okay, the hot take of the week. Looking into a time period oft forgot by most media, let alone video games, Battlefield 1 takes a surprisingly adult approach to the war to end all wars, with its typical first-person shooter twist. Certainly not the only video game about World War I, Valiant Hearts comes immediately to mind, especially in light of the 100th anniversary beginning with events in 2014. Battlefield 1 does a great job of impressing upon the player the sense of gravity and the human toll this war took. From the initialization of the game, taking the player through a tutorial mission to teach the basic mechanics, you're subjected to intense firefights and battles, none of which you're expected to make it out of alive. At each cruel demise, the camera pans out and the player's character's name, date of birth, and date of death appear. At each pass, a more somber feeling comes over you. This is a motif that carries throughout the revamped campaign experience. Rather than one full-blown campaign that takes you from beginning to end of the war, you're presented with vignettes that allow a couple of hours gameplay at once, should you wish, and a fully contained story. Again, this heavy feeling that the intro of the game creates is pervasive, not a cutscene that doesn't go by that makes you sink into your chair with a deep feeling of despair. That's not to say that Battlefield 1 is perfect, though. What it accomplishes with its cutscenes and quality storytelling, it loses in its battlefieldness. Between the cutscenes is very rote first-person shooter World War action. Obviously, DICE and the Battlefield team do a great job of shooting mechanics, but the aura of the unthinkable, unimaginable impact the Great War had on its belligerents flies out the window when you're back to mowing down another 100 unnamed AI on your way to the next heart-pounding story beat. Just when they've done an amazing job of capturing what it was like for you as a ground-on-the-boots digger at the Dardanelles, you go straight back to being superhuman, no consequences for your actions. Sure, ammo scarcity helps, but it's not enough. No discussion on a Battlefield title is complete without looking at the multiplayer. I've come from a Call of Duty background, so with that mechanical adjustment aside, Battlefield 1 is a fairly standard Battlefield affair. This is by no means a derogatory term. Battlefield has always done a great job of multiplayer. The last effort, though, Battlefield Hardline, left a lot to be desired. The promise of cops and robbers never really came true. The new setting gives a lot to the game in terms of locations, weapons, and vehicles, and it shows in the final product. No doubt you've seen the horses, but all sorts of vehicles show up and add great variety. Tanks and jeeps and trains, different types of aeroplanes. It's quite good. All in all, Battlefield 1 is a thought-provoking, if at times reality-breaking affair that I believe as a whole does justice to an overwhelming topic. 7 out of 10. So, discuss.
That was good.
Thank you.
I'm not sure how much of the campaign you've played. Have you just done the Gallipoli stuff?
No, I've done that. I've done part of the first story,
Yep.
and I'm currently digging through the Italian Alps kind of story.
So cool.
Which is pretty cool, yeah. But again, I think that story in particular, I guess, highlights the just mowing
superhuman,
down
yep.
superhuman, it does a great job of showing off mechanics, how the mechanics work, but between the story beats, it's quite, without giving away too much of the story, it's quite a touching setup.
Yep.
It's a grandfather talking to his granddaughter.
Yep. Typical American.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, when they introduced that the start of that campaign and it was an American granddaughter, I was just like, oh god, are they going to have an American character in this one as well?
Yeah.
But no, you're right in terms of the feeling of the intro, and I haven't played the Gallipoli campaign, but the and especially the tank one,
Mm-hmm.
the first one is also extremely on point in terms of emotional heartstrings. But the airplane one, the second one, really is more of a young Indiana Jones feeling type of story. So it kind of doesn't have that same level of emotional impact. But yeah, like as a little bit of my background, like, growing up in Australia and going off I've trained with the Australian Army a fair bit, just seeing, I thought that a game about World War One was going to be way too overwhelming for me, and just the start of that, the intro where you've just got guys just being mowed down, just really did affect me quite a bit. And then going into the campaign and seeing that there was a Gallipoli campaign, I'm just like, I don't think I can even touch that campaign. Like, I'm scared of going into it.
It's really emotional.
Yeah.
It really is. And that's why I think they've treated it with enough reverence from a story point of view. The gameplay just kind of falls back into a Battlefield sort of story, but certainly the Gallipoli campaign, it's kind of like heart-wrenching.
Well, I was afraid that like everyone was going to be American as well. Like the first campaign with the British guy, and then the second campaign was the American dude, and then the third campaign starts off with an American chick, and I was just like, oh god, is every campaign going to be this heroic American comes in to save the day?
Yeah,
I think DICE have done a good job of acknowledging the other participants in the war, and it wasn't just America comes in and saves the day. It's more a case of America shows up very late towards the end and just mops up the people who are already exhausted.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's done a good job of exploring the unseen sides. Like like I said, the Italian Alps campaign is like beautiful in terms of like the visuals, and like you don't hear much about that in popular culture these days. And listening a lot to Dan Carlin podcasts, he talks a fair bit about the Italian campaign and stuff like weaponized avalanches and shit. I'm excited to finish off that campaign and see what they do. Yeah,
definitely. And quick sidebar, recommend Dan Carlin's Hardcore History. Blueprint for Armageddon is the series. It's a big time commitment. It's about 4 hours each episode, and there's about 6 of them. So it does take a bit of time, but it's a really well put together, well produced, well delivered history of how World War One began. Its beginnings, if not exactly the root causes, but also its conclusion and what it did to the world. So I think Battlefield 1 definitely does a good job of the reverence for it. Does a good job of acknowledging that the US had some part, but not a big part to play. I think you have to toe a line of what's going to be commercially sort of acceptable and what's the truth, basically. Certainly the Gallipoli campaign is it's all Australians or a Brit and
Anzacs
and no Kiwis.
No Kiwis.
No, yeah. There's reference made.
The Kiwis are down by the beach.
Well, without giving away the story in it, there's a young kid. He comes in. The character you play asks him. He says, we'll be right. We're Australians. You're an Australian." He's like, "You're not a fucking Kiwi, are you?" And it has, I guess, that Gallipoli campaign. I mean, not to focus too much on it, but I guess, especially for Australians, it's a very important part of our history, and so it was the first thing I looked at and looked to go into. They do a good job, I guess, of the larrikin spirit. Things explode around you, and your character goes, "Fucking bombs."
Does anyone say mateship?
Yes.
Really?
I think someone says mateship.
Oh god.
Not in the campaign. I think it's written somewhere. So it's not actually doesn't come up during it. But there's lots of swearing.
Good.
And jibes at the British and the Kiwis. So it's where it falls over is the gameplay a little bit. In the campaign, in the multiplayer, it's standard multiplayer fare. And I think the multiplayer benefits from the time period chosen. And certainly now on next-gen consoles, I don't know what it looks like on PC, but the graphics are beautiful. That sort of forest level looks a lot like Endor from Star Wars Battlefront.
Yeah, it was very tropical looking rainforest in France.
Considering it's where it is.
In terms of the multiplayer, like, I know when we tried to play it on Sunday, we tried to get into an Onslaught, which is kind of the, it's the flagship game mode, it looked like, and it's got a cutscene for intros to the battle. It's almost Titanfall-like, rather than where you play a campaign via multiplayer maps, and we couldn't find a match, so that was very disappointing. So we ended up just having to fall back on quick play. So we'll give it a go this weekend coming and see if it's any easier to get into Onslaught matches, but then...
Yeah.
I think the biggest downfall of that is that lack of Aussie servers or high numbers. They haven't really, put enough servers together waiting for it to atrophy.
No, we were on a server and there was just me and Paddy on there. Like, no one seems to be playing it.
Yeah.
I think... Okay.
Well, yeah. I did manage to get onto a game yesterday.
Yep. Onslaught or quick match?
Of Onslaught. Operations, I think they call it. And yeah, it was good. It's a good mode. It is lots of stuff to it. I don't know if we just got a bad day or what the case was, but
yeah. And speaking of the gameplay though, like, I think there are a few World War One exclusive or in special weapons with having the bayonet on the end of your shotgun or the end of your rifle that allows you to sprint and then do a bayonet charge. But aside from that, there seems to be, I've heard it said elsewhere and I've noticed it myself in the game, there's an awful lot of automatic weapons in the game. So I think to truly give it a unique feel, they should have kind of removed the automatic weapons or make them crew served. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
Like, and everyone, if you're running around as a digger with one weapon, you've got to Thompson or a single shot, bolt action. Like, I think that would have been really cool. It would have given a really decent flavor, and having crew served or stationary machine guns would kind of emulate trench warfare a lot better, I think.
Yeah. Look, I certainly think it would have benefited a discerning historical sort of buff. I think the reality is, the commercial side won out. Someone like you or I or Ev, when you got more interest in the history, in the timepiece, and being somewhat more accurate.
Not accurate, just unique.
Well, yeah, but unique because of its more accurate portrayal. I think I certainly don't think we lose out, but we don't probably probably don't get as served as well, because EA, like Activision, they're looking for those people that buy one game a year, and it's the Battlefield game.
Yep.
Yeah. So
maybe better off if you're looking for that sort of historical accuracy or uniqueness, playing something like Verdun.
Yeah. So there we go. The hot take. Let's kick into news.
I feel like Tommy Wiseau this episode.
Why's that?
Like, I feel like, oh hi. Like, I'm just laughing at the end of every sentence for no reason. Oh, hi, little doggy. You're my favorite customer.
I bring mirth.
You're a mirth bringer.
Not content, just laughter at the end of sentences.
Yeah. The bringers of mirth would be a horrible or really good tag team wrestling duo.
Or strippers.
Or both.
Yes.
Wrestling strippers.
Stripping wrestlers?
Yes.
Like that video we saw earlier, those girls playing Twister.
Yeah. That was not what I expected.
No, that's ARSM rather than AMSR.
What does it stand for, though? What is...
Audio Sensory Response, I don't know, something like that.
What does the other one stand for?
Twister.
Okay.
Yes.
News. So, big news dropped pretty much the day our podcast went live. So we record this a day earlier than it goes up. So it was really breaking. But Nintendo, the NX, it exists. It's a thing. It's called the Nintendo Switch. Did you, Ev, did you get a chance to see the trailer video?
I had a look. I can't see this one taking off really either.
Really?
I mean, I could be wrong. Yeah, well, it just sort of... I don't feel like it really adds anything that hasn't been done by any other console. Like, it's... it's sort of a next-gen version of... who else has done it? Was it Sony had something similar for a while?
They had the Play TV, I think it was, where you could plug your Vita into your TV and play it there, and then plug it and take it on your bus.
Though we are looking at a console that can play high definition, current gen games.
Is it high definition current, or is it Nintendo's version of high definition current?
We are looking at a console that plays games.
All right. No, we're looking at a console that plays Nintendo first-party games, which...
Well, did you see the trailer?
No, yeah, it's going to have third-party things, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's also going to be the only console that you can play Mario on.
Yes.
As much as I like to fanboy out about Halo, Halo's not Mario. Like, I'm considering... Like, I get an Xbox because of its third-party stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm considering getting a Nintendo Switch just for Mario. Because it's fucking Mario, man. Like, the best platformers ever made. And just such a good feeling. And being able to play Mario, Land or New Super Mario Land, or New Super Mario Brothers, sorry, with my girlfriend is just, I'd love to be able to do that. Because it's such an awesome game. It's the only game that she has played in the last, like, significantly in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And that's the big draw card for it, is that range of Nintendo first party titles. Sure, third parties are involved, but they're never going to be as good on a Nintendo console as they will be on a PC or Xbox, I don't think.
No.
I reckon the thing that'll save this will be Smash Brothers, and if they can entice the Smash Brothers crowd across with a next-gen Smash Brothers, then I think they'll have a good, solid, stable fan base and be able to keep moving from there. I think if they fumble the ball on that, then a lot of people will just stay with what they've got.
What else is the Smash crowd going to play? Nothing. They're not going to make new stuff for the Wii U.
Yeah, well, but that's the thing, is that if they screw up Smash Brothers significantly, I can't really see too many people going out and buying this console just for the sake of it.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. I think the thing that it does particularly well is, I think it's its ability to be transportable. And I know it sounds, well, you've got the 3DS, you've had the Vita, various other handheld platforms. I think the thing is, it's not a handheld platform first and foremost. Nintendo have kind of come out and said they don't consider it a handheld. It's just, you can, use it, sitting on a couch or sitting in an airplane seat by yourself. And that was probably the bit of the trailer that got me the most, is the guy sitting there in the plane. He's got his meal tray down. He's put the screen up on that, plugged his headphones in, and and you can play. You can play Skyrim, or I was going to say Skyward Sword. That's not the one.
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild. Yeah.
Well, I've never played a Zelda game before, so I'd be really interested in doing that. And speaking as someone who has travelled a lot for work, being able to take it to the hotel room with me would be awesome.
Yeah.
Hopefully it would last the length of the whole trip, though.
That's going to be the thing. What's battery life like?
And does it have to go back to its docking station to charge? Or can you charge it via USB or plug?
Plane. I don't fly very much. Do planes have USB chargers? They do, don't they?
Yeah, they do now.
Yeah.
But no, like, just being able to charge it in the hotel room would be awesome.
Yeah.
No, it should be good. I think I might end up getting one just to see what this fuss about Zelda was all about, and maybe play some new Super Mario with my girlfriend, or fiance, sorry. I've never played a 3D Mario game either, so I don't really want to. I suppose if I have to, I will.
You're going to have to now.
Yeah. Yeah, you had a Wii. You didn't get a Wii U, but what do you think about this one?
Yeah, I'm pretty interested. I like the portableness. I would be keen to see something like an Animal Crossing on it. I'd be keen to see too if there's any touch touchpad ability. If it's the screen that comes with it has the ability to use haptic sort of feedback and things like that, whether it's just going to be a screen like a Vita or something.
If you give the Nintendo people a touch screen, they're going to use it as a gimmick though.
Yes and no. I don't know.
Maybe.
It'll be interesting to see what they do.
I saw it was probably a typo, but one of the articles I read said that it was going to have Modern Warfare 4 on it. I don't know if they mean Infinity War or no, Infinite War. Sorry, or
it sounds exactly the same.
COD 4. No, yeah, I picked that up the other day. I'm like, hang on, Infinity Ward, Infinite War. Oh my god, my mind was blown. Yeah. COD.
Yeah. COD. I mean,
could you see playing COD with that controller?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just going on memory of what the controller looked like. Looked like it could have been, any other joystick sort of controller. So
I thought it looked more like a Wiimote. I'm gonna have a look at it.
have a look. I thought both sides had a joystick on it.
But the one side has the joystick on the bottom, the other one has it on the top.
On the top, yeah.
Does it have bumpers and triggers though?
Don't know. I couldn't tell from the trailer.
I think to play a game like COD, you really need that bumper trigger kind of setup.
Yeah. Yeah. You could move around grenades to a couple of the face buttons or something. You just have sort of shoot and down scope. You've got one bumper on each side. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll see. So, it's a no, Ev?
Yeah, it's pretty much a no for me. I'm just looking at pictures of it again now. And honestly, I just don't think that, for me anyway, it's not really a console that I could fit into my life in any way and get a lot of use out of it.
But you're a token PC guy.
Yeah, I know. I'm mostly PC. But if I was going to upgrade, I don't think this would really be on the list.
I certainly don't think it's an upgrade kind of console. I think it's more of I want...
It's unique.
Yes, yeah.
It's a sidestep. It's a sideshow.
Sideshow Bob of consoles.
It's like you go to the Olympics to see sports, but then you step out and sample the delicious Brazilian food.
If you know what I mean.
You're not traveling. Yeah. You're traveling, you've got your mainline stuff, and Nintendo stuff is a diversion, I think, these days.
Yeah.
Or even maybe diversion is too dismissive. Maybe it's just a different stream.
Yeah.
Even like you've got people who are entirely within that stream and who will never cross over to the PC, Xbox, PlayStation stream, just because it's Nintendo. Like it's
I think you said it best before. It's the Mario machine.
Yeah.
That's the only place you can play Mario, Zelda,
Smash,
Metroid. It's the only place you can play those games. So if you want to do that, if you want to play that, it's where you got to go. So.
Yeah, I reckon a lot of younger people will probably get good value out of this as well. So it's the electronic console that they can use while their parents are using the TV or whatever, if they're not lucky enough to have one in their room already. I don't know, kids these days, I guess they've all got TVs in their rooms.
Do they?
Young whippersnappers.
Paddy's kid's already got a TV in his room.
Yeah.
Seriously?
It's not even born yet.
Oh, God.
No, doesn't have a TV in his room.
My child will be raised on sticks and rocks until he's 18.
Painful.
Yeah.
And that's just his food.
The Red Dead trailer. So obviously last week we spoke. Rockstar had announced Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yep.
We got a sneak peek at a trailer. Again, that was the next day after our recording. Did we all get a chance to see it?
We did.
It's been pretty hard to miss.
Yeah.
It's all over YouTube and it's been all over everything.
Social media. Yeah. What did I think? I probably expected a little bit more. This is probably something like a trailer like this I would have expected to see, in 2 trailers' time. I would have expected the first trailer to be a little bit more of a maybe give it a little bit more about a story, give you sort of a character, and then this is maybe the next trailer sort of sets the tone a little bit. I mean, it definitely looks good. I think the setting, the timepiece, all that looks really good from the trailer. So it's definitely not a bad trailer. I just feel none the wiser coming out of the trailer.
You just know it looks pretty.
Yeah.
At this point.
That's pretty much how I felt coming out of it. Was it looked good, but it doesn't really give you much of an idea of what to expect from gameplay.
Yeah.
I think all right, let me get this clear. I will buy Red Dead 2, and it's probably Red Dead 3, sorry, Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yes.
And it will probably be one of my games of the year next year.
Yeah.
As a early, I don't want to,
Don't jinx it.
give anything away, but
Well, last time this happened,
yeah,
it was
SimCity.
SimCity.
But that being said, my overwhelming feeling towards Red Dead, the announcement of its name, and now this trailer has just been disappointment. It looks really beautiful, and I'm super excited, but I'm disappointed at the opportunities that they've missed
Yeah.
to do something a bit different. To, as I said last week, explore a different setting and maybe a different character. I think they're doing Red Dead Redemption a disservice by going back to John Marston, because as far as I'm concerned, his story was complete. And, it's just an assumption that they're going back to John Marston at this point in time, but all signs point to they are going back to John Marston at this time, which, is a huge disappointment. But then, if they do manage to integrate some of those defense mechanics that Josh was talking about last week, based on the Magnificent Sevenness of the intro picture, that would be awesome. But I would love to see a new character, new story around it. And the trailer just looked like more Red Dead Redemption. Maybe a snowy landscape would have been awesome, the mountains of Colorado. Have you seen the movie Cannibal?
Yeah.
Tell a story in that area, like the gold rush. When was the gold rush? 1834. And most of the...
I think so.
1836. And most of the Wild West was, late 1800s. So exploration of the earlier time period and different area, like gold rush. Sorry, 1849, because 49ers.
49ers.
Yeah.
Of course.
I thought 36 because Adelaide was founded in 1836, so they have the 36s. But anyway,
Sports.
So different setting, different time period would have been awesome. So missed opportunity, but still, it's gonna be awesome.
Look, it's only the first trailer, so there is still some to come. I think their statement on their website describes it as being in the American heartland. So you sort of have fingers crossed that maybe you just missed some of the snow-capped mountains.
Well, heartland is very much like prairie and just boredom. When I think of the American heartland, I think of pure just crushing boredom. Can't think of fun gameplay opportunities to be had in the plains of Kansas.
You get to go out and harvest corn and attend a barn dance.
Corn as high as the elephant eye. Speaking of, we got to get some corn.
To do...
Make some moonshine.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
But first we have to get our license to do that.
Yeah. We should look into that.
Well, we'll talk about it this weekend.
The last piece of big news, I guess, the new trailer for Logan, the last Wolverine movie, that looked pretty good. I haven't had a chance to look at the Red Band trailer, but
it's about 1.5 seconds longer. I think.
I heard.
And,
does he say a swear word?
The biggest difference is somewhere in the middle. It's got Wolverine pops his claws and goes up underneath the guy's jaw, and the claws come out the top of his skull. So
gruesome.
That's the unrated bonus. But I always feel like they don't do Wolverine justice with the rating, because when you look at, and especially like the Old Man Logan stuff, which this is kind of loosely based off,
Yeah.
He gets his face ripped off. He gets eaten by a key character, I guess. No spoilers. Like physically consumed. There's another one. He gets eaten by a dragon and gets most of his body burnt away by stomach acid. And he looks pretty bad, but he always comes back from it. They don't ever really do stuff like that. X-Men 3 doesn't count.
Yeah.
Was Old Man Logan? So is this based on Old Man Logan?
Yeah, it kind of
Yeah.
is.
But I always thought Old Man Logan was a post-apocalyptic thing.
Yeah, post-apocalyptic. Pretty much all the heroes are dead. Hawkeye comes up to meet him and try and convince him to go on a courier run, and all sorts of other things happen.
Yes, drop some weed
Shenanigans
off.
ensue.
So is this a remake of Kevin Costner's Postman, starring Wolverine as the postman?
Kinda, yeah, except Hawkeye's the donkey, and
And Professor X was the U.S. Postal Service.
that's it. Yeah, there's a lot of really big differences. I guess the overall theme that they'd probably grabbed from it is that Wolverine's quit, doesn't want to be a hero anymore, and then probably has to be convinced that, he needs to step back into the world.
So it's basically the same story as every single other X-Men story.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wolverine doesn't want to be a hero. Wolverine becomes hero.
Yeah.
So this is the third in the Wolverine series, even though the first one doesn't really count.
Yeah.
Like the first one's non-canonical anymore since Days of Future Past. So
Exactly.
Days
It
of
got
Future Past
recognized.
got rid of the first Wolverine and the last X-Men movie,
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes. Yeah.
and then Wolverine 2, which
Well, was
wasn't.
the Origins story.
No, that was Wolverine 1.
What? No.
X-Men Origins Wolverine,
Yeah.
and then the Japan one,
Oh, yes.
which everyone
Nice.
forgot about. But it wasn't as
That
bad
was
as
really
X-
good.
It was all right.
Yeah, it's good, I guess, if you
It was the best
Don't-
of the duology.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's this one, so thus capping off the Wolverine trilogy.
And it's definitely the last appearance of Hugh Jackman, which is a bit sad, but it'd be a rough character to play. Like, he's put a lot of heavy work in for, well, how long has he been Wolverine now? To be 16 years?
We're in
Maybe.
year 10,
Well, when did the first X-Men come out?
99 or 2000. I remember we were in high school.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much what I'm basing it off. So, 16 years or so.
Yes.
That's
a
hard
good
work.
stint.
Yep. Him and what's that dude's name? The
Lee
guy who
Schreiber.
played Cyclops.
Oh, I don't even know his name.
Yeah,
Cyclops, James
Marston.
Marston.
Boston.
So Hugh Jackman and James Marston, their characters, 16 years. They made them their own.
Yeah. To your point, Ev, I think Logan's getting an R18 rating, or at least they've shot more for that. I think the success of Deadpool being a far more mature rated movie,
If not a mature movie.
well, if not a mature, that's right. Gave the producers, gave Hugh, the sort of, okay, yeah, we can do an R-rated movie. It's not going to be the screamingly hilarious sort of fest that Deadpool was, but it's going to be a bit more gruesome, a bit more adult. So hopefully that is true. That comes to fruition, and our our classification board just sort of accepts it as it is. And lets it
They
through.
let it through.
Should be fine. It's not a video game.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's violence tends to be okay. Really, it's sexual violence is the one that tends to be needing to be removed. But I'd like to see a higher rating on this, definitely, because I feel like they haven't really done the character justice in any of the movies. Yeah, it'd be good to see him go out on a slightly more vicious angle.
It would have been good to see a Wolverine Deadpool movie because those two characters have always been so heavily linked in the comic books. It's a shame that, if this Hugh Jackman, that's his last Wolverine movie, are we never going to see him opposite Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool?
I'd like to see them bring in a true to life height Wolverine.
Yeah,
so you want them to hire you, basically, is what you're saying.
Maybe. If anyone's listening, Hollywood, I'm ready.
Well, you've got the body hair for it.
Is born ready.
Yeah, I know. I'm most of the way there. I've just got to shave a little bit.
That's funny.
And you only need to be able to deadlift 200 kilos. When he posted that picture, I was like, what? So what?
He skipped leg day though.
I'll work on that.
Yeah.
That can be done. That's easy.
That's easy. I know a girl that can do much.
That's it. I can grow muscle. Hair like this, not everyone has hair like this.
No.
That's right. No. And fake hair, you can tell when it's fake hair. It's not the same.
It's not.
It's not. That's all for news. It was pretty big. A few big items in there this last week. So we'll see if we get any other big news, anything else coming through next week. We're probably going to be a bit quiet now, I guess. We're back into games.
Heading towards the end of the year.
Yeah, so...
Yeah.
Big things
Doctor Strange is out, so...
Oh, yes.
Keen to see... I haven't actually seen too many reviews on that. Have you guys been watching the news?
Haven't actively read a review as yet. So IGN posted one, but I'll be honest, I haven't read an IGN review for a little bit. Not for any particular reason. I just haven't read one. So, no, haven't read a review.
Might go see it on Friday night.
Friday? Yeah, I'll try and watch it before the next cast, so we can discuss it.
Oh.
It's a busy weekend.
Much time.
Doing
yes.
fuck things.
Maybe we can make our own Doctor Strange.
That's nasty.
That's nasty pasty. Let's kick it into emails. You can email us at karmaiguana@gmail.com or head to our Facebook page. Go to facebook.com/Stefan Iguana.
With an F?
With an F. STAFAN Iguana. And like us there, drop a comment, send us a message, and we'll read your comments, feedback, or questions on the air. So last week we began we touched on an email from Sister Podcast from the Batcave, from Red Thunder. It was a two-parter. We were running over last week, and we're running over this week. So we had to carry over part of his email to today. So Wilson, do you want to have a read? Yes.
So part 2 of Red Thunder's question from last week. With the advent of VR and its obvious gaming immersion benefits, will we see the demise of dice-based Dungeons and Dragons in favour of people being able to still get together and play, but to do so in a quasi-holodeck kind of way?
Yes. They already kind of have this sort of thing.
Yeah.
We've got Tabletop Simulator on Steam.
Yep.
But there's also, and I really can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but there are communities out there where you can link up via Skype, etc., and play with other people already. So I figured this is just one step on from that.
Tabletop Simulator, is getting bigger. I was given my Kickstarter copy of Secret Hitler last week, and immediately before I had even received it, there was a version of that on Tabletop Simulator. But that being said, I don't think that you can get around the tactile feel of being in the same room as someone and being able to punch them when they don't do what you want them to. Nothing's ever going to replace local multiplayer for me. I think something that's going to be more of an effect on gaming is you've seen the new Mansions of Madness second edition does away with the DM in favor of a app-based solution. So rather than the DM having to set up and place all the cards out at random locations inside the mansion, you've got a app that says move into, or you tell the app where you've moved, and then it will tell you a card to draw, like whether to pull out an axe or whether to pull out like a monster or something. Okay. So it handles all of that stuff for you, which I think is going to make DMing that game a bit easier, or it's even done away with the DM, so setup and cooldown time is going to be a lot easier. But I just don't think anything's ever going to get rid of face-to-face local multiplayer, especially for stuff like Mansions of Madness and D&D, and those games that have always been about getting together with friends and having a drink. I mean, do you really want to get rid of the local multiplayer aspects of it? I mean, we're becoming a more separated society as we as we evolve more. We're spending more time staring at devices.
Yeah.
I have to say though, like having played Pathfinder, which is it's basically D&D, different brand. The challenge isn't finding a group to play with, because it's more widely accepted now. There's a lot more people, and they have the internet on computers now. You can find, local groups. But the hardest part is finding a space to do it and all getting together. So I think actually the VR bit sort of almost helps with that, because you can live in a small unit. You don't have to try and cram in, up to 8 other people or more, depending on the session size. I don't know, like I do enjoy getting together with everyone and playing it face to face. Drinks definitely, because you need to be able to give the GM a hard time by trying to romance that orc.
Yeah.
What about Cheetos?
But yeah, getting a group together and finding the space to do it is probably one of the biggest challenges of D&D. So,
but if you move it into the online environment, how is it different from World of Warcraft or Baldur's Gate at that point?
It's less about playing it like that, but you still. The way I would see it happening is that you're essentially getting the D&D experience, not the RPG experience. So you're still somewhat face-to-face, being able to see who you're playing with, etc. You just don't have to be in the same room.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Look, I think they could probably coexist. I think you'll probably find a crossover, especially, I think, if you look at the CCG kind of category, things like Hearthstone, there is Magic online. There are services that will let you play Magic with your cards online against other people with their cards online. It won't stop people who want to play Magic in person playing Magic with each other. It just sort of supplements it. I think the thing for me is potentially more at this point anyway, a cost of VR, and it, I guess, being maybe prohibitive to that. So initially, it'll only be those with a lot of money to throw behind the hobby to really do virtual D&D or virtual sort of tabletop gaming in that space.
It's like real tabletop gaming then.
Well, that's the thing. So real tabletop gaming, it costs to buy the material, to buy the packs, to buy your expansions and everything like that. If you then have to buy a headset and then whatever software, so that way you can play that game online, it's just going to be prohibitive.
I think the cost to content ratio of the games, bit D&D, Warhammer.
Yeah.
As a few examples, even Mansions of Madness, my beloved Mansions of Madness. the cost to content ratio is incredibly small compared to a video game. You know, you've got a computer game which costs $100 and it's got a wealth of sound files, graphics, story, everything.
Yeah.
You've got a board game like Mansions of Madness, $200 for like 6, 2-hour stories and a couple of models. Like, they're really, really expensive, the physical. And I'm not sure if that's just because they're in the physical media realm, or if it's, overblown prices because of shipping. It's a number of things. So, maybe that's where VR could step in and relieve some of that cost burden.
Yeah, you've got to buy, like a $500 headset first, though.
Yeah, but only once. Yeah. Like, how much of... Yeah.
I do agree. I do understand.
Yeah.
But then you've got to buy whatever the software is. That's another $100 sort of on top.
I think...
Look, I don't disagree. I think board games are expensive. They get really pricey. I think also, though, board games, all that inbuilt in like a video game, all those sound files, all that sort of stuff, that's inbuilt in the board game, but it's inbuilt in the participants. It's about what you put into it, and for a lot of people, it's hard to engage that much and feel invested in the character that they have in Mansions or in D&D, and often someone who will appreciate a board game and playing something physically, they don't necessarily transfer to D&D because there's a lot of imagination at play. And so while I think, $200, yeah, that's expensive for a board game. You're talking 2-hour campaigns? I don't know. I mean, it depends how long it takes you to do that campaign. 2 hours, it might be more like 4 or 5.
I think if you include setup time, then it's 4 or 5.
In our experience,
yeah.
Yes. So
I do, as a DM, enjoy making noises for the participants.
Yeah.
But I think the question of price actually segues well into our next email question, if you want to give that a read, Josh.
Absolutely. So, question from Brad. Thanks, Brad. Will VR be the future or just a fad? Given the cost investment up front for PC varieties, Oculus and Vive, plus the specs needed to run this hardware, will the concept last?
It's an interesting question. And again, yes, thanks, Brad. And also,
thank you, Brad.
Thank you, Red Thunder. We didn't say thank you last week or this week, so thank you. It's an interesting question. The cost, if you look at the specs for PC, what you need to run, you're going to have a pretty high-end machine to be able to run it. You're probably looking at least $2,000 Australian to be able to run an Oculus. Then you've got to pay for the Oculus on top. So what's that? 600 odd? Then you've got your games. And certainly now, your games probably aren't the quality or the quantity that they probably could be in the future. Probably also no more than take the Wii and Wii Sport. So Wii Sport was sort of, hey, it was a fabulous tech demo. Look how awesome this is. You swing, and it's like swinging a baseball bat or a tennis racket. And it's all anybody ever sort of played. But then everything sort of went away. Do I think it's going to be a fad? No, I don't actually think it'll be a fad. I think it's actually going to be, once the early adopters have gotten in, they've helped, I guess, let people like the Oculus and HTC and PlayStation, Sony, with their development costs of being able to further refine the headsets, get the costs down. Yeah, I think it'll be pretty consistent sort of stuff. You have a lot of trends. I think televisions with curved screens was the most recent for TV, and before that it was 3D, and that stuff came and went. I think the applications for virtual reality and these VR headsets are much more than 3D. Who wants to watch anything in 3D almost, really? And a curved screen I don't think improves your viewing that much more. But take VR, take sports. The NBA has already said they'll broadcast one game a week through virtual reality. So you could be sitting, I guess, center court, watching whoever, famous teams, your favorite team maybe.
Michael B. Jordan. Are they going to put a VR capture kit on like Charles Barkley and make him run around on the court wearing that shit so you can feel like you're actually part of the game?
That'd be pretty fun.
Yep.
Charles Barkley is also really old, so that'd be even funnier. But
didn't soccer do that with 3D? When 3D first came out, wasn't there sort of one match a week being filmed in 3D, and then they were sort of shipping it for consumption? It kind of didn't really help for 3D there.
No.
Put a camera inside the ball. That would cause
spinning after the ball gets kicked.
Yeah.
I think you're right. They did do that with soccer. I think the thing though is 3D images are great. Gives you a good sense of depth. That's awesome, and I think they have a place in certain sort of movies or genres of movies that help make things stand out. From a sport perspective, I don't think 3D helps. I think so. In that regard, VR from a corporate stance. So take video games out of it, because I think is VR for video games going to be a long-term thing or just the future of video games? I think it's a very different question, and I think it is I got a very different answer. Well, but VR from a corporate thing, the NBA's jumping right on it. How many passes, I'll call them, could they sell to people across the world to be able to watch any match they want from the best seat in the house? They can watch everything. And with 3D, 3D cameras going everywhere. You turn around, you can see the crowd, live behind you. You can see everything.
Speaking as an engineer,
yes, of which you are.
You could get 3D images, or you could get 360-degree images. I can't conceptualize a way to get 3D and 360.
Yeah, I don't wonder.
No, because you're talking about like having VR, which is 3D. You've got two videos, right?
Yeah. And
then being able to turn around, it's always going to be fixed on wherever the camera's pointing. You're not going to be able to turn around.
Yeah, but they've done it already though. You have cameras set up in as many degrees as they can fit as many cameras in.
And then digitally composite them together.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
So, no, to your point, yes, yeah. You're not going to have just one camera and then turn it around. But you have a number of cameras. They're all broadcasting live from tip-off to end of game. Whether it's ice hockey or gridiron, you can be on the 50-yard line and watch an entire match of American football.
put a VR camera on top of the net of ice hockey.
Yeah.
Well, VHS versus Betamax.
Yep.
Porn chose VHS.
I knew this would come up at some point.
And
Yeah,
porn has already got VR.
but
So-
porn also chose HD DVD,
Did
not
it?
Blu-ray.
Did it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the internet was around then.
Yeah, I know.
I think
Yeah.
porn chose the internet more than it chose
Yeah.
it. So, like, I think porn's taken a not to harp on too much about porn, but
Porncast.
it has embraced VR technology as it does,
So to speak.
So I think having them get behind it is like a big push, and then talking about the cost investment, it's not out here, but the Sony VR platform launched in. Well, I haven't seen it out here yet. I don't know what the actual status is here. But the Sony VR platform launched quite recently in the United States, and I think that will go a long way towards making VR more affordable for the common user. Especially, I'm expecting an announcement of the relationship between Facebook, Oculus, and Microsoft quite soon. So
Yeah.
that'll remove the requirement for a hefty PC investment. You might end up having to buy the Xbox Scorpio, but the PlayStation VR runs on the PlayStation, so
Yeah.
that'll remove a large portion of that cost. You'll still have to buy the headset, I suppose.
I think there was never really a question that VR would work. It was just when it would work. Because the concept of VR has been around for so long now that, sooner or later, it'll get off the ground.
Did you
And
ever?
I'd like to see maybe augmented reality come in a little bit more. I've seen
Like Pokemon
promos
Go.
for Magic the Gathering with augmented reality, which kind of takes us back to the last question. You have the cards, you have your headset on, and the headset throws a little animation on top of the card, depending on what creature you're playing or whatever.
you had that
You can kind of do that with a lot of different things, but it increases your outlay. It doesn't decrease it. You're paying for the headset, and you still need the cards.
Well, you've had ARG games on, augmented reality, games on your 3DS for the past 5-6 years, and more recently on your mobile with Pokemon Go and shit like that. So,
I'd like to do away with the monitor. I reckon if we were going to have VR, then that starts to become the one viewing platform.
Yeah.
yes,
Well, eventually it'll just get to the point of
eyeballs.
straight into
Yeah.
your eyeballs, straight into your brain, and you just hook into the matrix, and everything's
Yep.
perfect.
Yes.
So we have run well over time, so we won't get to go through any of the responses to last week's question. But next week's question of the week.
We have completely forgotten what we wrote down.
We had a really good question, and we were going to write it down, and we didn't. So
The question is,
here we go.
what should the question of the week be for the following week?
I like.
Is cheese-tart
Steady on.
a cheesecake, a cheese pie, or a cheese tart?
Wait. Is cheese tart
Yes.
a cheesecake,
Mm-hmm.
a cheese pie, or a cheese tart?
Yes.
It's a cheese tart.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a cheesecake.
No, because
No.
it's tart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not a pie because there's no lid.
Pies can be lidless, can't they?
Pecan pie, derby pie.
Wow.
Apple.
They call it a pie, but is it a pie or is it a tart?
That's what I'm
pizza
saying.
pie.
People call cheesecake cheesecakes, but actually it's a tart.
What's a cake?
No, it's a tart. You
It's
just
got
agreed
cake in
this.
its name. No, because you said cheese tart. And a cheese tart is a cheese tart.
If you make the crust out of graham crackers and then fill the center with a delicious cheese, that's a tart. I don't care what it's called. It's a tart.
What if it doesn't have a crust? What if it's just got a base?
Well, then it
Well,
can
And then
be.
you
Wouldn't-
bake it.
Well,
That
a base is a crust.
But would that then be a tort?
Mm.
A tartare?
Da, da, da. That's got apple in it.
That's pastry.
Yeah,
Mm.
very different. Actually, tarts are made from pastry.
No, because you can get those raspberry tarts that just have that crust.
Yeah, they're pastry. What do you mean?
No, they're biscuits.
There's no biscuits.
Yes, there are.
It's pastry.
My favourite biscuits. The one with jam and then the crust around the outside.
It's not a biscuit.
No, it's a tart. It's a mini tart.
That's cheap short crust pastry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're cheap short crust pastry.
it's
Oh,
a cheap
damn it.
short. Okay, well,
Now my
offering...
secret's out. Now everyone knows.
Oh no,
So that is the question for next week.
that is the question.
Is Josh a tart? I know it. Wait.
No. Is the... Well, I like the uncooked version of cheesecake.
Yes.
So,
Okay, cheesecake, baked or fresh?
fresh.
That's the question. Okay.
That's the
Good
question.
question. Baked or fresh? And I'll go either way. In the cheesecake world,
No.
I'm by KQL.
My mum's lemon cheesecake from the Woman's Weekly Cookbook of 1987.
Oh, that's a
That's so
classic.
good. They need to bring back those cookbooks.
They do. I think there's one in that shelf there somewhere.
Oh, yes.
Ev, baked or fresh?
50-50, but maybe leaning slightly towards baked.
Ooh.
It really depends on flavor, though.
Good answer.
I'm a flavorist.
Yeah. But aren't we all?
I don't perceive flavour.
Did you just assume my flavor?
I don't see a difference between flavours.
All flavors are the same.
Okay, before we get any more
I have a
politically
friend
incorrect,
who's a cheesecake, so I can say that. So, yes, Wilson,
all right, should we call it a night?
let's call it a night.
Let's call it a night. We've got some final box planning to do towards the end of this week.
Yes, yes. And then the event
The
is
event.
upon us.
I expect Alan's party mix just to be a bath full of Alan's party mix.
What if we got you Peter Allen's party mix?
No.
No?
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the Karma Iguana podcast. Remember to subscribe on iTunes or your favorite podcast listening app.
SoundCloud.
Go to our SoundCloud. Just search for us, Karma Iguana. Remember to rate and review us. The more likes, the more rates, reviews, and the more feedback we get, the better we can get. And on that note, we will call it a night. We will see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
Farewell.
Au revoir.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Mon petit fromage.
This has been a Cabana production.